Why it's almost impossible to track everything when it comes to marketing. Hey, I'm Sam Dunning, co owner over at webchoiceuk.com and host of the Top 100 Marketing Podcast, Business Growth Show. So, first and foremost, I think measuring and tracking your marketing is certainly a good idea. It's very, very sensible. So, if you're running any kind of campaign, whether that is SEO, paid ads, whether you're doing affiliate marketing, email marketing, offline, traditional marketing, if you can track it in any way, whether that is and Google Analytics through to your website for your click to calls, for your inquiry form fills, for your direct sales, whatever it may be, justifying your marketing spend against your return investment is always a smart move. But with that said, the buyer's journey, the customer journey is a fickle one. What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is if someone searches you on Google, it doesn't mean they're necessarily going to buy from you straight away. Perhaps they've heard from you from word of mouth. Maybe they've seen you on social media. Maybe they look into researching your case studies first, and they eventually go to your website. So just because they've seen an advertisement, they've seen some of your marketing, doesn't necessarily mean they're going to buy on the same channel that they first heard about you on. Let's give you some working examples of this. So if we take SEO, search engine optimization, as a first example, a prospect could be searching for services or case studies or examples or useful resources on Google and constantly see you on page one. Let's give you a quick idea of this. So you could be searching for best ways to use a CRM or best CRM for small businesses or something like that. And the prospect could constantly see you on page one. Perhaps you're giving useful tools, infographics, videos, resources. So every time they search for information around your sector, you're page one. So eventually they're ready and they've got enough trust in you to do business with you. But instead of using the Google search, they search for your website directly. So this means Google SEO gets no credit for your search. It goes down as a direct inquiry or direct sale. Here's a second example. LinkedIn. LinkedIn we love here at WebChoice. I'm using it all the time, just like SEO. I'm publishing content on LinkedIn most days around websites, SEO, and digital marketing tips. But to give you an example, you could see someone on LinkedIn publishing useful tips, ideas each and every day. You could consume their content for weeks, months, even years until you trust them enough and you eventually need their product or service. But instead of messaging them on LinkedIn, perhaps you just go direct to their website, or perhaps even you search for their site, you search for their product from an intent channel. So you click through a Google ad and then you make an inquiry on their website. Well, that is not going down as a attributed to LinkedIn. That's getting attributed to, in this case, paid search because you click their Google ad. So the company therefore attributes that to a paid ad click through, whereas the person actually heard about you on LinkedIn. So that's a second example. Thirdly, podcast. So I'm a big lover of podcasts with a business growth show, and I listen to a bunch of sales and marketing ones. So you could consume podcasts for a long time, just like with LinkedIn content, until you eventually need perhaps the host or a guest's product or service. But instead of going through a traditional means, so instead of perhaps inquiring with them directly, maybe you just search about them on Google, you go for a direct channel again, perhaps you click their ad, and that tracking is all getting attributed to a Google ad. So it just shows you how fickle the buyer's journey can be. Just because you've consumed a certain part of content doesn't mean you're going to go direct through that channel. And analytics, Google Analytics, and different tracking platforms will attribute it to the platform you've eventually inquired through. And this doesn't even include word of mouth or referrals. So we could have consumed content from all these channels or different channels that we've not yet talked about, and then someone could refer you to that person, that business, or you could hear about them through content and eventually search their website. So the point I'm getting to here is tracking is certainly a smart idea. I'm not dissing tracking at all. It makes sense to understand the return on investment, but you're never going to know 100% what each channel is bringing in, because a lot of these that we've talked about are building your brand, they're building your reputation for the long term. So the content you're pushing out on these channels means that when someone's ready to do business with you, they might go to a intent channel, they might recommend you to a friend that needs your service, or they might search for your website directly or your landing page directly, meaning the channel that you pushed out the content through isn't getting the credit, but you're still winning the business, you're building your brand, and this cannot always be tracked. And there you have it. Hopefully, this has shared some useful insights around tracking when it comes to your marketing and building a long term brand for your business. With that, if you enjoyed the episode, as always, hit that subscribe button and I look forward to catching you on the next one.